Our biggest issue today too is stress. And our central nervous system is fried. We're always just downing coffee, getting our adrenals overloaded. And so, when you take the time to actually meditate and calm your body, you realize that calmness is our superpower, right? And the awareness that you get from that will allow you to make better decisions. You tap more into your intuition. You make choices that are more aligned with yourself. Have issues, I guarantee you right now, you're not meditating enough to actually get to the root problem.
Welcome to the Hard Way podcast with Joe De Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan Races. We're teaching you how to overcome your obstacles in your life the same way we teach our 10 million plus Spartans to overcome obstacles on the course, with insight from the smartest, most accomplished experts from every corner of the world. Get ready to elevate your life today.
Joe De Sena, CEO and founder of Spartan and the Hard Way podcast. I got a hard guy on today, Mason Kuhr. We've gotten to know each other over the last year. He's got a really cool company, the Stampede Network. And tell me if I got this right, but basically you've got like a spiritual take on health and wellness. Mm-hmm. You don't look like a spiritual guy. I mean, you're not doing yoga and chanting every day, are you?
No. So I mean, spirituality is just life. Right, like that's the biggest aspect of who we are, right? So the things we see, they all started in our mind, which started with, intent coming from something outside of ourselves. It's like when we go to sleep at night, where is that? I mean, we have no idea, right? And so I really wanted to take that angle because that's become a massive part of my life. And I know if you learn how to harness your spirit and heal from within, that's where the massive, real change comes from. So yeah, the brand's around holistic performance, bringing consciousness into the world, not consuming crap, get rid of the synthetic ingredients, the added sugars, things that we don't need to be consuming, and realigning with nature, because that's the biggest issue I see today is we have zero connection with nature.
The thing that was most interesting to me is he and I were on a bee farm, and he walked over, and the bees were buzzing around the hive, and he just started eating it. And the bees were all over your face. I was like, this guy's nuts. It was like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. I wish that happened. But you can. I mean, that's how we want to consume things. Like, that's what bee bread is. Yeah. Right? So it's just taken straight from...
Tell us about bee bread.
Yeah, so bee bread is our premier supplement that we brought out. It's basically bees will collect pollen, they'll bring it to the hive, and they'll break it down, mix it with honey. And so it's this highly nutrient-dense, bioavailable substance, like a multivitamin, right? But it's also loaded in antioxidants, so it helps with recovery, sleep. It's great for immunity, right? Because it's almost like when you take a shot, if you're allergic to something like pollen, right? If you take a little bit of it, you build that immunity up over time. Sure. Energy too. It's helped people with, one of the craziest stories ever was inflammation. This one guy tried it after 10 years, he couldn't move his body very well from all the inflammation he'd stored up. He was always bedridden and just crazy things. It was horrible, right? And so he started taking bee bread, and I guess within 2 weeks he started moving his toes. He's able to move his foot, and he started walking around normal, right? And so that was one wild story. Another one was this couple was trying to get pregnant for 9 months, right? And so they couldn't do it. They started taking the supplements. Within 3 days they were able to conceive.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We got the doctor in the room, by the way. Could we list that as empirical evidence, or is that a clinical trial?
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah, I mean, they reported it. I was like, that was wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're on this journey. You're on this journey of holistic health and wellness and putting good stuff in our bodies. And how's it going? People listening? Because I'm having a tough time fighting the whole world.
For sure. Right. Yeah. I mean, we the route we take, it's very revolutionary, right? So our messaging is aggressive, and I think too, it's the way you communicate it. We want to make it cool. Right, so it's we use the Greek god symbolism and have all those things built into it. So it's everything has its own story, right? Because people want to be a part of a story and they want their own story. And so we make every product and the whole movement in general, because that's what it is first and foremost is a movement, is bringing out a transformation in ourselves, right? And so it's we can put amazing products out all day, but if we can't communicate the message the right way, nobody's going to want to buy it. It's boring. Right, and so normally in the holistic wellness space, in this conscious space, you see it as hippies, right, doing the yoga thing and chanting tantra, whatever it is. But we want to make it approachable. We want to make it cool. So it's like we just brought on UFC fighters. Yeah. Like we got athletes such as that. We're going to Spartan, and it's like, making it cool.
Yeah, I think a lot about, because my mom was into yoga. She was crunchy back in the 70s, and I think a lot about our brand now, and it's very much a yogi, like what you're saying, wrapped in a Spartan cloak with a helmet on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it might not be cool for half the world.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our stuff focuses too on, energy healing, right? So it's like, what are the most nutrient-dense, energy-packed things that we can get that are also extremely clean? And, while we share those products with people, how can we actually make the lifestyle change? So it's like we give free programs on the site to help people make the diet changes, realigning with, grounding, nature, just getting in the sun. Like a crazy stat I was talking about over there is Americans spend 90% of their lives indoors. 90%. It's like, and we go outside and we wear this white synthetic goop to protect us that was only made in the last 100 years. We've been here for tens of thousands of years, conscious as a species, right? It's like we didn't wear any of that. We've always been walking around barefoot, connecting to the earth, getting the free radicals out of our body, and we don't do any of that. We go to sleep and we have our phone in front of our face with blue light disrupting our melatonin release, so we wake up groggy and we don't know why, let alone going to sleep at like 3 a.m. Right? And so like,
but you don't, because I call you at times and you don't answer your phone and you have no TV.
No TV. Got the MMA mats in the living room. Got the warrior mace and the red lights. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's working.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, your productivity just is next level when you do that. When you don't have the distractions to, drag your dopamine into something quick, your life will radically change. And like dopamine hacking is something I'm really into as well, is just getting rid of like those distractions and using your internal systems to get you to do what you need to do, but also making you want to do it, right? Because we have a ton of resistance to doing these things, but they can become really fun when you learn how to get your dopamine from the experience itself, right? Because then you also get the long-term fulfillment of it.
Yeah, so walk us through a day, like a perfect Stampede day.
Yeah. So my morning routine, I'll normally wake up, I'll do 100 burpees.
Nice.
Right off the bat, because what I'm doing is I'm linking my mind to want to pursue something hard. Yeah. And obviously those suck, right? So it's like everything after that's pretty easy. Yeah. I'll go out immediately outside. I'll go into the sun. I'll go for a little walk for 10, 15 minutes. Come back, do a cold shower. Nice. Right? So that's been shown to, I forget what the percentage is, but the amount of dopamine that you get from cold exposure, I think it was like a 700% increase. And it lasted for, I believe, like 2 hours or something. Andrew Huberman was talking about it. But I'll do that, and then, once I go through those things, I'll normally just get to work, and I try and work outside. When I'm making content, I'm usually outside. And so it's like, I live in Florida, like we're in Boston right now. It's a different story, but I don't really wear a shirt, I'm outside absorbing the sun's rays, and, that helps your testosterone too, which is a huge thing on the decline today. Yeah. Men's sperm count is expected to hit 0 by 2050.
Wow.
That's the craziest thing.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's like really this race against time. I want to document this process to help guys especially, get on track and align with nature so we can fix these issues, before we go to something like a pill or, whatever.
Well, if you want, you don't know this because you haven't seen it yet, but we have a farm up in Vermont where this whole thing started. Yeah. And I lived on that farm for 15 years. And my days look very much like yours, brushing my teeth in the river in the morning, getting the ice cold water, chopping wood all day. It was awesome. Yeah. But we have children, and children need to go to normal schools and play soccer, and so my life has pivoted a bit. But that farm would be a great place for people to get their sperm count up.
You told me there's like a cabin there?
There's cabins. You could live out in the woods, 700 acres. It's surrounded by 250,000 acres. Anybody want? And by the way, I invited once, my wife flipped out, 3 million people to come to the farm. My wife flipped, you can't invite 3 million people to our house. But the reality is very few people come. Right. Because it requires work. When you get there, you're going to work. Yeah. And it's so much easier to stay in your apartment.
For sure.
Right? And
for sure.
Watch Netflix and eat chocolate cake.
Yeah, definitely. Do you meditate at all?
Right before I go to bed. So my mom was a big teacher of meditation, and she was crunchy, and I was rebellious of it. But I found myself figuring out how to meditate before bed and then passing out. And what I say to myself, again, you don't have to listen to this, I'm a crazy person. Why would I want to meditate during the day? I'm not saying it's wrong. I want to slow down at night before I go to bed. I want to be switched on during, so that's just my take on it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I try and do it twice a day, usually at least 10 minutes, especially after the morning routine, right? Because like our biggest issue today too is stress. And our central nervous system is fried. We're always just downing coffee, getting our adrenals overloaded. And so, when you take the time to actually meditate and calm your body, you realize that calmness is our superpower, right? And the awareness that you get from that will allow you to make better decisions. You tap more into your intuition. You make choices that are more aligned with yourself, right? And so it's like, that's how you get the awareness to make any change in your life. And if you have issues, I guarantee you right now, you're not meditating enough to actually get to the root problem. And it's like, the biggest thing is that most people will quit after a few days because they start like squirming around and not being able, they're like, I can't do it, it's not for me. It's for you, you just gotta push through that, because once you break through the resistance, you achieve this state of oneness where you're really tapped in. And if you can get into that state every single day, you will make the best decisions that you can possibly make because they're aligned with you. And that's when you're actually aligned with your soul and your guidance system that we have inside of us.
I love it.
Right? So
I love it. You sound like the Harvard doc.
Yeah, I guess so. The yogi version.
So what's next?
Man, so right now we're just bringing out more products, scaling that up, just get as much awareness as possible there. Changing paradigms is the real metric of success. I don't know if you've seen our site recently, but we put a counter on there. Oh, nice. So it's the paradigms counted thing for each customer that comes in. So we've had about 56,000 customers so far. Love it. Been really cool. So, as we scale that up more and grow the brand, I also want to get into the retreat space and start doing these things in person. Nice. Get some breath work in there, some meditation.
The farm, use the farm.
Let's do it. I mean, because the emotional healing is the biggest thing too. We can use supplements all day, and this is also why we provide, free programs and stuff. But if you can't navigate the stress and the emotional blockages and the energy blockages in us, that's what creates disease, which is dis-ease. Right? And emotion is energy in motion. So it's like there's this disease and dis-ease of the energy inside of us. It's not flowing, right? And so when energy is stuck in one place, that's how it manifests into a disease. I've seen it in my own family from like kidney diseases and stuff from stress, right? And so, once they adopted this holistic lifestyle that I told them about, meditating, all that stuff, reversing it, right? And so it's like when you really get to the inner energy work too, and you pair that with a healthy lifestyle with supplements, clean nutrition, not drinking tap water full of fluoride and estrogenic substances, then if you pair that and nature together, then you have no choice but to become successful because you're aligned with how we're meant to live, right? And so whatever people believe, whatever religion or spirituality, there's a creator that created us to thrive, right? And so there's an abundant way to do that we know is innately true. And if you can tap into that, then you'll find success.
I love it. Plus burpees.
For sure.
And a Spartan racer.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Well, you're awesome. How do people find you?
Find me at Mason Kuhr, Kuhr, everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. Check out the site, thestampedenetwork.com. That's the brand. Plenty of free resources there. You can get a free self-mastery kit if you need a little jump start to get you on the right track. But that's it.
Love it. You're awesome.
Yeah.
You're awesome.